Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and it's my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are continuing where we left off like we did last time, where we're going to review Terror Train 2 that was released in the same year as the first remake we did, which is 2022.
2022 or 2022 sounds better. Anyway, irrespective, we have a funny feeling that we got the same actors, same producers, same directors, and blah 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 blah. I got a funny feeling they've done concurrently. I think they did the same filming at the same time.
On the same...
At the same location, and said, well, here we'll do the two movies out of this one movie, and they just sliced and diced them and released them at separate times. So that's a possibility.
There is a possibility. Considering they, by the look of them, they look like they haven't aged.
Well, they haven't, say, about a year later, or a couple of months later.
Or changed their hair colour.
Change their clothes.
Except for their story is a little bit.
Well, the girl,
changed.
Alana, she had a different hairstyle, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, and a few things. It made it look like it was so many months later or a year later or something or other.
Yeah, so the story takes place a year later.
The producer, directors or something?
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm just saying the story takes place a year later after the incident.
Well, it's somewhere. We think it's about a year later.
All right, now go to the executive producers and directors.
Oh, yeah, produced by same guys. There you go. Now, I think the main producer is Kaylee Kavanagh, and then he has got the execs. And whatever, Graham Ludlow, Brooke Peters, and Shari Siegel. Directed by Philippe Gagnon, or Gagnon. He is the same one who did the first one. Written by Ian Carpenter and Aaron Martin, who wrote the script for the first one. Budget unknown, box office, there isn't any because it's gone straight to streaming, so there's nothing there to talk about.
I like to think that they may have had a private screening, maybe with a few of their actors.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
We're talking about money, box office, bums on seats, money in the door, okay?
Go on.
Right?
Right.
I don't care if they had it, they're at a barbecue or something or other and had a big screen TV there or something or other. They don't care. I'm talking about money coming through the door. Okay. The same actors in the main came back. Robin Alomar plays Alana. Nadine Baba plays Sadie. She's the conductor, whatever, train guard, whatever. Emma L. Patterson plays Mitzi. She's a sort of a bit part. She's sort of dead, but she comes back a bit. Tori Barban, she plays Mary. Dakota Jamal Wellman plays the Prez, like he's a class president type guy, of the fraternity or whatever. Tim Rosen comes back as the magician. Now, with some extra people in there, in our cannon fodder, Nia Rome plays Claudia. Is that the one who's the overprotective one?
Yeah, the overprotective one.
Yeah, she's sort of a friend of Alana's who's being very protective and nurturing, sort of.
And we think that she might be an in-the-closet gay person.
Yeah, well, we got a funny thing. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter at this point.
Romy Weltman plays Pet, one of the girls in it. Lisa Trong, Truong, plays Lucy.
I don't like her too much.
She's a sort of what do we call her? Streamer.
I think you're gonna. There's gonna be a few people who take selfies and streaming.
What's the other word to use for them? Influencer.
Influencer.
Streamer. Blah blah. Yeah, one of those.
Soul sucker.
Soul sucker. Vacuumous sort of. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. I think it'll do.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Hey, before we go too much, we said it was not, there's no budget figures because, like the first movie, it's been released on Tubi and you will be able to see it for free on Tubi. Okay? Or Tubi, whatever it's called. Tubi or Tubi. I don't know. Can someone else tell me, is it Tubi or Tubi? I think it's Tubi, probably.
Yeah, anyway, guys, I'll be sure to put a link at the bottom so you can actually check the movie out on your own.
And it won't be missing either.
Anyway, it's an interesting movie. I mean, as you guys are well aware, the first one was like a remake from the 1980s one that came out. So this one is where we left off, obviously. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Sort of, like, yeah, it's just like a couple
Like,
months or a year
yeah,
later or something. They're revisiting the train and where the previous problems happened.
Yeah.
Saying we are defiant, we can get over it, yada yada yada.
Yeah, so
We're
this
not
is
scared.
where they are now type of thing. 1 year later,
Somewhat, yeah.
sort of thing. Are they still traumatized? Are they gotten over it, or has a new killer emerged out of the darkness? Because, as I said before, the first killer in the remake one disappeared, and she kind of opened her eyes on when she was on the train tracks, and. Well, the police have not found her, I guess.
Well, we don't believe they did.
No.
We don't know. It hasn't come in, but it's alluded that she might have got away, but she may not have gotten away. Somebody else might have found her and buried the body. I don't know. So,
who knows? Considering the fact, though, aside from a few policemen who could identify how far away the body might be, I don't know if someone maybe present might have worked it out in their head how far distance-wise the body was.
I recognise that tree. How's that?
And considering it was snowing, she could have died of hypothermia for all I know. Who knows?
The wolves might have got her. Could have been a bit peckish.
Anyway, so I'll dive into the story. It's 1 year later. Alana is she's studying to be a doctor. We see her in a surgeries thingy where the teacher's telling her to cut into a cadaver. And as she's staring at the knife and the cadaver, she has a vision of her friend, Michi, who died on the first train that, in the remake. And it's taunting her, saying, "You let this killer kill me.
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
Blah.
You deserve. How can you go about killing me, having me killed, and you cannot save me," and stuff like that.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then she runs out of the surgical classroom.
She's in a classroom where they're doing
cutting open
training people.
Yeah. She goes back to her roommate, and she's on a laptop and feels like she can't handle the classes because she's feeling like how is she going to help people as a doctor if she can't
help herself? Aha.
Or even learn how to cut them open and without shaking like a leaf.
Yeah, and she's not scared of the blood. It's just that she's when she's looking at her friend trying to cut this one open, she saw her friend Mitty.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the case that it was a dead body she was worried about. It was the memories of that night.
She's at the moment seeing a psychiatrist person, and they tell her that you should conquer your fear. And so these guys know.
Blah, blah, blah.
The same train from 1 year ago that was during the Halloween thing is going to do another Halloween, not Halloween, it's more like a New Year type of trip. And... well, her friend, Claudia, suggests to her, why don't you go on this train? Conquer your fear.
Blah, blah, move forward. Yeah,
move
be
forward.
Stronger for it. What are friends for? Yeah. They're not going for it, are they?
Yeah. The other people who came on the train previously, just so you guys know, they weren't cannon fodder because in the past they didn't do anything. It was only the killer was after the people who caused her son to... have a mental breakdown, obviously, right, Mike?
Exactly.
So they were not even victims, per se. They were more like unreliable witnesses.
Somewhat, yeah.
Anyway, the following people that are on this train of terror, they're calling it Terror Train, just like in the movie, obviously. So I guess it's good product placement. So the person is the Prez. He's back, obviously, and he's arranging this sort of New Year thing. And there are people walking around in costumes again. You'd think that they would have learned their lesson from the first time.
Put normal clothes on. Mm-hmm.
We also meet some of the other people from the original Terror Train from the previously movie, who is a girl named Mary, who's an influencer, I think her name was, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Who's dressed in a fairy outfit, and she was the one who was flirting with Mo, Alana's boyfriend.
In the first movie?
In the first movie.
Yes.
And she's an influencer trying to make out, we're going to this terror train, blah, 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 blah.
I was on the last one, yada, 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 yeah.
She's trying to make herself look, like, important.
Yeah, she ain't, really.
She ain't, no. Because just because she went on a terror train does not mean that she... was the sole survivor in that incident.
Hey, I want to train once. Doesn't make you a train driver. Yeah.
Anyway, of course they've set some rules, ground rules for this terror train thing. It's taking place on the same train. Of course, they painted up. They got rid of all the blood, scraped off the excess.
Yeah, they would have cleaned the train up from previously.
Yeah, and slapped on a new number.
And new coat of paint,
Yeah. And so they're told no rubber knives, no weapons.
No fake weapons, no real weapons, no nothing.
Yeah. Anyway,
Alana
Alana thinks this is a great way for her to get over her fear. So she gets on the train with her friend, and as they're about to head off, some of the people start taking selfies with her, snapping their photos, not realizing the added trauma she must be going through being back on the train again. This is not exactly benefiting for her. She's not exactly thrilled. Stuff like that.
I wouldn't be. No.
Also who joins them on the train is Sadie, the conductor, and another conductor, a younger man, I think, who says...
Well, I don't know if he's I think he's out of security.
He says he's security.
Black belt and karate and everything else,
Yeah. You would think there'd be more security guards on this train in case of... Because one person being security guard could... Well, you can't really be one... If it was just one person, he can't exactly wander the train and try to maintain order, stuff like that.
He's a black belt. He is full of himself. Yeah.
It doesn't help
I'm a macho man. I'm an alpha male.
It doesn't help that some of the people on this train are dressing up like the victims.
In the first movie, one was at a like Godzilla type thing. One
was looking like Mitchie with blood all over her face.
And one was dressed in a robe like a monk, and that was Doc's costume.
Yeah.
And sort of stuff, yeah.
Anyway, and so I should mention when they get on the train, one of the guys gets killed. He's an unknowner, and he was bugging Mary when he was going on about her being a selfie person and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, he gets killed. And then we move on to the bar where we meet the magician, and everyone bugs him about how he got over his stab wounds. It takes time to heal, first of all. It takes a little bit of therapy and probably a little more time to heal.
Just like magic.
They try to make out that I just think these people are just idiots.
They are. Idiots make a good movie.
Anyway, so he catches up with Alana, and they even go back to his cabin. His makeup room to talk and discuss old times. It seems that the magician Alana and Sadie, they have been in contact a little bit, but not so much because, well, the incident may have traumatized them, and it's hard to catch up with people after a traumatic event like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. What conversations would you have? I can't imagine.
Do you remember that guy chasing down a corridor with a big knife and stabbed you a couple of times?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, had a great time. Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Not something you want to reminisce about, guys.
I wouldn't think so, no.
True. Anyway, so as they're settling in, we get the creepy clown mask, stalker mask back again, obviously. It's reappeared. And also, I should mention in one scene where Alana, being in the VIP room, she's back in there, and she runs into a person that resembles the dead conductor. She's wearing this weird, creepy mask, and she chases Alana back to the bar, and luckily enough, the magician was there, and he slugs the...
right in the face. Really good.
And the girl moves her mask and saying, I'm going to sue you for this. Well,
but this girl's been running around for a real axe and trying to hit the Alana with a real axe.
What's that tell you, folks?
And she wants to take legal action? Duh.
Yeah, well, they were warned not to bring real or fake weapons on board.
Yeah, let alone chase somebody with a real axe and try to kill them with it. You'd think the penny would drop somewhere, wouldn't you guys?
Yeah, I think the Sadie and the magician and Alana, they had the most trauma because they experienced it. They seen it with their own eyes, what they saw that night.
Yeah.
And of course, none of the other people don't seem to understand. They think it's all about healing and stuff, but Prez and Maria, not Marie, Mary and all the others know what they've gone through, for goodness sakes.
Exactly.
They think it's an exciting thing, that she's a final girl. Give me a break.
Yay.
Even Sydney from Prescott probably didn't like the whole added pressure by the media, that she's just like that. Anyway, as that girl gets knocked off eventually. The one wearing the conductor's mask. She gets knocked off.
Well, see, that saves a lawsuit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it would save everyone a lawsuit and a pet of and seeing her again. Anyway, eventually, I think I don't know when do you think they started suspecting there was a real killer on board again? I was trying.
Did they find a body?
I think they do find a body. Like,
where was it? I'm trying to remember. Who was the first body?
I think it was. Anyway.
Whatever.
Anyway, they do.
They tweet to the fact that there's a killer on board.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it doesn't help that situation that some kids are replaying the old footage from that.
Yeah, off the phones and stuff.
Of course, Alana gets annoyed and she grabs was it Lucy's Lucy's iPad and smashes on the ground. Who can blame her? That was her boyfriend, for goodness sake. It's not fan film.
It's not fake. It's real.
Yeah, you think these people would cut a hint that this was not a prank or it was real. Anyway, so they eventually do. She does eventually find out that there's a killer on board, and then they start suspecting who might be it. Of course, they continue to. Some of them who don't know what they went down through, suspect the magician, obviously, and they also suspect Chloe and stuff like that because Chloe she also has a special. She's developed a site for true crime stuff. Claudia, sorry, had this true crime site that she made. Where people develop true crime and stuff, and she investigates it.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, yeah.
Anyway, eventually Sadie gets knocked off, I guess, and it's just before it happens. Sadie, and Alana, they both agreed to celebrate the new year together.
With a glass of champagne.
But unfortunately, when she finds her, she's dead, and she's lost one of her close friends that she hopes to celebrate the new year, of course. That's a bit sad when you think about it. Anyway,
sad.
They all start suspecting Claudia, and they do find a shrine to the first killer.
Yeah, that's interesting. Out in what do you call it, baggage car?
A baggage cart, I think.
All the guards' car right at the back. Yeah.
And we seen there's a shrine. And we
candles and stuff,
and we see sort of the remains an eyeball in a glass that probably belonged to her, Connie.
Yeah.
And of course, they start wondering. She could have not have. They were all discussing whether or not she was either devoured by wolves or maybe she her body was never discovered according to the police. So she may have died of natural causes or unnatural causes.
And the wolves buried her. Hello.
Yeah, there's that too. But still, having to find her eyeball and it's clean, it's not damaged or anything. There's no. It's still in good condition after 1 year, and I know there's ways of doing this. And especially if you're a medical student, you know exactly what type of stuff to use to maintain it. Obviously, just like when people pickle brains and maintain those brains for further study.
Yeah, like servers.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just being funny.
Yeah,
come on.
yeah,
I'd be funny sometimes, yeah.
Anyway, they soon start suspecting Claudia and as they're about to, press her for information, she pulls out, I think this is where, much later, we find out that the other security guard gets killed, obviously. And then...
Yeah, the black belt and karate guy, yeah.
Then Claudia starts panicking, and she pulls out sort of one of those. What do you call it? What do you call it? what do you call those? A flare gun. Yeah, that's
flare gun. Yeah.
And she plans on shooting them. Of course, Alana tries to talk her down as much as possible.
And she does a good job, doesn't she?
Yeah, she tries, and eventually, but suddenly, I guess in the pressures, because she's freaking out. In the scuffle, she gets stabbed by a sort of, what do you call it? The spear?
Yeah, that's
Fire
they use a
spears?
long pole thing. You know when it gets they pick things up with it's got a point on one end and got a hook as well.
Yeah.
So they can grab things.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're going past, like a mail delivery, so hanging off a pole. Yeah.
So she stabs her with this thing, and she pulls
Pike, I
out
think,
her, intestines. I think I saw it.
Oh, yeah, looks so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Look at a
disgusting.
string of sausages about sausages. Yeah.
It's the first time I've seen something like this gross.
This is good.
Anyway, of course, Claudia dies, and Maria narrates that they just killed a killer and all that stuff. She goes to the bar and tells them, "Guess what? I just killed the villain the Slayer's killer." And they're all like saying, "Yeah, sure."
Right.
And she decides to tell them. Of course, I think none of them believe her. I think.
Oh, would it?
The magician and Alana, they get close, and as she's fixing his wounds, and he tells her that she's acting just like a doctor would, not, checking, making sure
looking after a patient.
Looking after a patient, meaning she's no longer, feeling traumatized by the whole thing.
She's getting used to.
Getting used to
all this carnage, man.
Yeah. Anyway, that shows her caring side. And then she goes out of the room, and as she's, just so you guys know, another person did previously died, a friend of Mary, and she was looking through the footage, she was shooting some sort of footage on the train, so you guys know, and there we saw the killer stabbing her to death, of course, in the shot, and we see the eyes of the killer. It turns out it was Mary who was doing the killings, and because it seems that during the scene she kind of recognized her, like she said, "Take off your mask," because she expected it was the guy she liked, who was also killed. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I skimmed over it. I skimmed over it. So anyway, so she's. Once the person removed her mask, she recognized her, obviously, and then she got killed by that person. Anyway, so now we know who the person is. And, of course, Mary decides to hook up with the magician. She's trying to steal him like she stole Mo back in the first
what are friends for,
movie.
Hey?
Of course, Alana appears and tells her, "You keep taking and taking and taking. Isn't it enough that you just killed your best friend, and now you're going ahead and stealing the guy, my favorite guy, the magician?" And she says, she just brushes it off, saying that she's already did it with Mo. She has no problem with that. She practically rubs it in her face, and I'm not surprised that Alana has not decked her yet. In my mind.
I would have decked her.
I would have decked her.
Off the train.
Yeah, she even said when they found out who the killer was, that she said to throw the killer off the train. Of course.
Very dramatic.
What kind of manners of a killer would that kind of behavior would serve?
Mean.
If it were anyone, it would say, let's turn them into the police, or at least have them chained inside that cage thing that was in the conductor booth.
Yeah.
So, something like that. If it was me, I would definitely do that. Anyway, so of course, she then is about to approach her, and she says that I'm going to try to be the final girl because that will make me very, very popular on social media, yada yada.
Blah.
She then takes out a knife, stabs the magician, and chases Alana, back to the to the conductor cart, obviously, and there they fight. I should mention the other dead bodies are in there too. The her friend Sadie and the security guard and her old friend Claudia, who was all dead. They're all kind of covered in blankets and stuff. And as they're fighting, she has Mary, pinned down on the ground, and all the time she's taunting her, saying, "You have not the guts to kill me." But luckily enough, Alana did. She actually takes a knife and cuts her, into the chest. And I don't mean just one stab. She actually pulls it down and into her chest, all the way down to from the top to the breastbone.
Yeah, what do you call it? Vivisection? I don't know.
I don't know. Yes. But I think it's a proof
Jack
that...
the Ripper would have been proud. How's that?
But I think it's proof that she can finally put the past behind her, and she has no problems doing this now. And then we fade out. Oh, well, really, actually, we don't fade out. We actually head to the next train station. They arrived at the Final Destination thing, where the police are talking to the eyewitnesses. Of course, as usual, they are flabbergasted, and
ambulances around and stuff.
The magician is unharmed, and he remarks that we should stop meeting like this. And of course, she remarks, maybe we should next time take the bus. And he says the terror bus doesn't have a nice ring to it. It seems that there's a bit of a lovey-dovey thing going between them.
They're building a relationship. Isn't that lovely, folks?
As Alana is walking towards the detectives to discuss what she knows about what happened, the Lucy character approaches her, saying, "Is it not too late for me to get a selfie with you?" And she looks at her and says, "Never mind." And then Alana heads off to the detectives to tell her story. Yeah. Then we fade out.
Lucky. No.
Yeah, sorry guys. I mean, there are some deaths that are, mostly canon fodder, and most of them are just, they don't have any connection unless I can say that without a doubt that it was definitely would have been her that was the one responsible. Because
see, in the first movie you had, the very, 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 very first movie, the original movie, you had Kenny coming back in revenge on the people who sent him in the nut house. Now in the remake, it was his mother played a security guard on the train, and she was getting revenge for her son who was in a nut house. Mm-hmm. Now this is the sequel because Kenny's mum, she was put out of the way in the last movie, but somebody wanted to keep the carnage going by killing people and social mediaing and different things.
Yeah.
And so Mary kept it going by starting a killing spree.
Yeah, when I saw this, I'd seen it, it made me think of the Tragedy Girl movie we reviewed previously, and of how this girl was trying to beef up her influence credibility by trying to make her a bit of a soul survivor, and
a sympathetic person who's there for everybody, and but they're creating. Right. In the reality, they're actually creating the problems so they can go there and clean up the mess and pat everybody in the back, saying, "There I am, there for you," and blah 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 blah.
Considering her character in the first one, she did nothing, and she was just along for the ride. Yeah. To put it in those terms.
Well, a train ride.
And the Prez, he continues to be useless in this movie.
Prez by name only.
He doesn't seem to know
I'll understand her quietly.
Yeah, he doesn't even seem to do anything in this movie. He continues to be the totally useless one in the bunch. And it doesn't help that all these people who come to this, I imagine that they, seeing as most of them are just there to soak up the atmosphere.
People died here, isn't it great?
It reminds me of a little bit of a real thing that's really happens over in America, where Jeffrey Dahmer, Mike.
Not personally, I haven't met him, but I know of him.
Well, the old building site that he used to live in, Mike.
The house, yes.
Well, it's offered to be toured around so much because for bachelor
And
parties and stuff like
and
that.
this is his bedroom, and that's the kitchen, and that's
Well,
the dunny. Yeah,
considering the place is no longer a building, Mike. I mean,
Okay.
it's wouldn't be they won't be able to actually go to inside the building because it's now a vacant lot as far as I'm concerned.
So this is block of dirt. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit. Yeah, that's where
And
house
it's
used to
offered
be.
mostly for people for bachelorette parties. I don't even know why would a self-respected girl would want to go there
that's
for
their house. You go do it out amongst the trees. Because you said there's no house there.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? A vacant block of dirt, just stand and put a tent there or something, are you?
Don't, Mike. It is a tour, not a campground.
Oh, you're not going to stay there. You're
No.
just going to go past it. That's where so-and-so died. All those
Yeah.
people, blah, blah, blah.
Anyways,
oh, okay.
It's
So
not a really good thing
like
to
a
do.
tour thingy.
Yeah, it's not a good place to actually do a tour. But then again, a lot of people have just done criminal tour related stuff, even though I would have preferred something a little bit more entertaining than something that seems like a graphics thing that happened many years ago, not too long ago after all. Considering,
I'd rather go to these tour where movies were made and stuff.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so it's no different in this movie because these people try to make out that these people are celebrities, the people who died on the train, even though, and they tried to reenact the whole thing using, people dressing as cosplay of the victims. Obviously, it doesn't make it look good.
No.
I don't even know whose idea it was to do that, but I guess it makes a little sense to further, cause problems for Alana, dealing with trauma and trying to get over that trauma. Throughout,
Exactly.
she has a sort of panic attacks, I guess, in this movie. Would you say?
Yeah, that'd be the best way to put it. She was, little panic attacks and stuff there. So,
The added pressures of people poking their nose up to her face with a camera saying, "Ooh, this is her."
overreacting a tad because, she was traumatised previously, So,
And all the time, everyone's saying, "Liven up! It's only
get over it. It's only a few dead bodies."
Because these are her best friends, and she developed this huge scar on her shoulder. I mean,
where she got a knife in
where
there.
the knife was.
Developed. She received
She
a knife scar.
received a knife.
Nice prezi.
And she even showed this to Mary prior to the movie, where she says, "I have scars and I have personal demons, and this is not gonna. It's not gonna disappear overnight. That she just lost her best friend and her boyfriend on
And stuff.
And it doesn't help that Mary's rubbing her face and that her Mo was cheating on her that very night. It's not a nice thing.
Not very nice. No.
I don't even. Yeah. I think it's horrible that Mary tries to rub her the wrong way, making out this is that she screwed him before he died. Give me a break. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I do think the sequel is pretty interesting.
It's not bad. It does take it to. It's part of the story instead of trying to milk it.
Yeah.
So it's an independent story. To a certain degree, but based on the first movie. A bit like, you got Star Wars, the next movie follows on from the movie before and that sort of stuff. Same sort of deal, so they're not capitalising on the first movie, they've got more of a continuation, which is the way it should be.
I do wonder how many weeks they may have worked on this, or months.
Well, I don't know. They did 2 movies in 1 year. I don't know the filming schedule or anything, so can't tell you.
Me neither. So anyway, should we rate this now because I don't have very much to say about this?
I think I gave the other one a 9. I'll give this one a 9 too.
I'm going to give it, like I did last time, a 9.5 out of 10 myself. I thought it was pretty cool, especially the chemistry between the reoccurring characters, like Sadie and Alana and the magician. I almost wish... I don't remember the magician's name. I think he had a name, but I don't know if anyone...
They might have used... I don't think they actually used it. They just, the magician's here. Yeah, that's it. So I don't... Hi, how are you? And that's as far as it goes. I don't think they actually used a name. Yeah, so... It matters not. We know who he is.
Yeah.
He's a magician.
He's pretty nice. I mean, I liked it when he's cozies up with Alana. And he likes the fact that she's different from all the other.
Yeah, she's not
guests.
herself.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's a better word than I can think of. I mean, all of them seem to think that they wanted to think they just were they were trying to suck up and try to I'm going to get all this action. I didn't like that scene where the kids are yelling, yell like you just saw so and so's dead bodies. Go yell if you saw Doc's body.
Yeah.
Yell when you saw Mo's dead body. I think I hate that scene the most in this movie. I mean, they were just they were practically trying to make this as like it was all about them, and the deaths it's just another salt in the wounds of dear old Lana and the magician and Sadie.
And other people.
When you think about the people who were killed, it's not really something to go around chanting your arm about, because these people, they died and they didn't deserve this sort of thing.
Yeah, something like it.
Yeah. Just like a lot of people who died, and you think that you ought to celebrate their life by celebrating. But I don't think it's good to celebrate sometimes, especially.
No, celebrating a life is good. Yeah,
celebrating death is not really good.
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference. Yeah. Celebrating the death is a bit morbid, but celebrating the person's life after they died is But not doing a reenactment, saying, "This is how they got run over by the truck, splat," and that wouldn't be very nice, would it?
Yeah, I would have settled for if it was a horror movie and someone was doing a reenactment of that. That would be cool. But if it's something real, I don't think I would want to see it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good movie. I could make that.
What?
We could make a movie about someone making a horror movie, and then someone dies in it, and then they try to make a remake of the movie, and the same things happen.
Yeah, it's been done.
Come on. Someone's done already, have they? Damn it.
Anyway, don't say it out loud because people will probably be hearing.
Damn, it's not a bad word. It holds water.
Not that. I meant the story, Mike.
Oh, my story?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it? Yeah, everyone say, yeah, good idea. Write a script. Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so you know where to find it.
Tubi.
It's on Tubi.
Tubi or not Tubi?
So I'll put a link at the bottom of the page, like I said, so you can actually view it for yourself, and let us know in the comments which you prefer, the remake or even the 1980s one comes to mind, or this one.
I personally like the 1980s because Samuel Lee Curtis is in it, and David Copperfield is in it. And it actually set the ground for the remake, which was really a remake of the first movie. But if you haven't seen the first movie, these two movies made together last year do work well together.
I agree. So check it out, guys, and let us know in the comments what you guys think, as per usual. We value your opinion as much as, you value ours, obviously. So let us know. So thanks for listening to us, everyone. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls. See you guys next time.
Bye
guys.